Hello.
Hello, Brandon.
What's up, Lewis?
Not much, my brother. Just my mind is spinning after seeing Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness.
Yeah. It was an interesting movie for sure. Um I I don't know. What did you think?
Yeah, I mean, so for anyone that's stumbled upon this, we are going to go into spoilers on this real
Yes.
quick spoiler Doctor Strange review. But so directed by Sam Raimi. We both love Sam Raimi, and there's
Yes.
a lot of Raimi in this film.
Yes.
But I still felt like Marvel were reining him back in and being like,
Yeah.
you can do this to this extent, you know. I think
Yeah,
that
it
there
almost
was,
felt like there was two different movies going on.
yeah, there was the one he wanted to make and the one Marvel wanted to make.
Yeah.
hmm
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, like Zombie Strange was really cool.
Yeah.
And that, there was certain elements that I was like, heck yeah, you could just tell that it was like, okay, here's my opportunity. Them running through the sewers, with
Yeah.
Wanda coming after them was like, the scariest thing that we've seen in Marvel so far
Yeah.
in terms of the way it's shot, which was really cool. But I think overall it did leave me cold.
Yeah.
And I know a lot of people love this movie and they're talking
Yeah.
about how great it is and, all that stuff. But I didn't, I don't know. I'm not a huge fan of the way they've taken Wanda, especially.
Yeah.
Because I thought WandaVision was probably one of the best Marvel shows that they've done so far.
Yeah.
And I feel like this just took it that one step too far.
Yeah, I was super hyped for this movie. When they announced, first of all, that it was
Yeah.
called Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness, like that title is like, oh my God, this is going to be crazy.
Yeah.
And the original director was like, this is going to be the first Marvel horror film. Like, it's going to be a horror film.
Yeah.
And then they let that guy go. and then Marvel was like, it's going to be kind of a horror film, but not really. But Sam Raimi's coming back, and it was like, oh, well, that's cool. Like,
Yeah.
that'll be good.
Yeah.
Sam Raimi is known for his horror films and the Evil Dead movies, which you and I both just watched all three in cinemas recently.
Yeah.
Alamo Drafthouse did a rerun. And so that was fresh on my mind, but yeah, it was like, and I don't know, I don't think it was because I saw Everything Everywhere All at Once. Like I that was a multiverse movie as well, and they did a lot of really cool stuff. But I don't think because I saw that is the reason that I'm feeling this way. But
It didn't tarnish it for you.
Right. It I just expected a lot more multiversal stuff.
I know what you mean. Yeah.
There was it was like they went to only like two places. It was like, okay, well, in the endless multiverse, and for one thing, like you said, Wanda's the villain in this movie, which I didn't exactly expect. It kind of could like make sense a little bit, but like her motivations don't really make sense. Like she's just kind of gone crazy.
Yeah, there's the point like halfway through the film where I think it's America is like, but what happens to the other you?
Yeah.
And it's like that. Yeah, exactly. Like,
yeah.
I can't believe you're not noticing that is a problem.
And why is she not trying to find Vision? Like another Vision that's alive.
Yeah.
And where is the one that we saw at the end of WandaVision?
Exactly.
So it's just a lot of weird stuff like that where I expected like in the endless multiverse like it to be like to come out and be like that was the craziest thing I've ever seen. Because they could have done just so many. They could have done anything. You know what I mean? And they did do cool stuff. That doesn't mean I didn't like the movie. You know what I mean? It was like seeing John Krasinski was cool. Seeing Patrick Stewart was awesome. Spoilers, of course. I mean, a little late, but I mean, we said it at the beginning of the show.
Oops, not John Krasinski. I meant Benedict Cumberbatch.
But and like you said, like Zombie Doctor Strange was amazing. All the stuff that they let Sam Raimi do, like I didn't expect them to go so horrific with it. Like the violence was probably the most. This is probably the most violent Marvel MCU film that we've seen. Aside from like TV shows, but it like I said, it seemed like maybe not everybody was on the same page.
Yeah, exactly.
When they were making this movie,
I felt like Marvel kept showing it us and being like, "It's things you haven't seen before," and it's like, yeah, but it's still in the same movie. Like it's the same story as we've seen 24 times now.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And I understand it. I really liked America. I thought that her character was really great, and I'm glad that we're getting some representation, not just from, the LGBTQ plus community, but also everything else. It's so great that we're getting that side. But again, like we've said, Doctor Strange is not the main character in this. He's like third, maybe fourth.
Yeah.
He's the guy that's kind of like in most of the scenes and running around, but it's not about him. I don't feel at the end of it, I feel like his revelation, we knew in Doctor Strange. We knew from What If.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
It's not a massive like, oh, he loves her. It's like, we
exactly.
know.
It felt like the What If episode was more about Doctor Strange than this movie. A lot. You learn more about the depths of his personality more in that episode than you do in this movie.
Yeah.
There is like the one scene where he's talking with himself and trying to convince himself who he is or whatever, and he mentions that now I can't even remember. It's been a week since I saw it, but his sister died or something.
Yeah.
But it's it's not really, it doesn't have anything to do with the story, really. It doesn't like help him in his journey to like save the universe or anything like that. So yeah, I mean, I think I'll probably enjoy this movie the more I watch it, because I've got to let go of whatever that expectation was that I thought it was going to be.
Yeah.
And just enjoy it for what it is. So I think I'll enjoy it more as I go because yeah, the Sam Raimi stuff is awesome. Like I think at one point what is the book called that they have in the film that she's trying to get the whole time?
Oh, that's a good question.
I can't remember.
Yeah, off the top of my head.
It's left my brain, but whenever he burns it up the first time, and she goes to get the book, I swear the book looked like the Book of the Dead, like the Book of the Dead cover from Evil Dead. The other books didn't look like it, but that first one that she grabs, and it's like the burnt cover, it looked like it had the dead skin face on it. I was like, oh, there it is. Like,
there it is.
That's kind of cool. Yeah, it was, overall, like, it was good. It just left me feeling like I wanted a little more out of it. And we'll see I don't know where they're going next with it. It's always open-ended, so.
Yeah, I mean, there's a character on the board now that can jump between multiverses, that can control it as well. They're going.
I think I expected more with Bruce Campbell too. I was like, I'm glad he was in the movie, of course. Like it's awesome, but like, I was on the internet side with wanting to see him be Mysterio.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think that because there was a lot of talk about him actually being Doctor Strange, right? Like years ago. I know that he was supposed to be Mysterio and like Spider-Man and stuff like that. Yeah. I would have not even necessarily had him in it, but if they had like gone to the universe where Doctor Strange had died and the statue had like a really pronounced chin, and it kind of looked a bit like Bruce Campbell, I think that would have been really good.
Yeah.
To be like, okay, like the people know, but like Chelsea's not, she doesn't really know who Bruce Campbell is and why he was in there. And when we waited till the end of the credits, she was like, "Why did we wait for that?" I was like, "Because it's Bruce Campbell. That's why."
Yeah, like yeah, it felt like because when you and I went to see all the Evil Dead movies, I mean that theater was pretty packed, and people were like every time Bruce Campbell had his moment, like people were cheering and stuff. And then in this movie, it was like there was nothing, like silence.
Yeah.
You know, at least at the theater I was in. Like if we had seen it at Alamo, it probably might have been a different reaction. But
Yeah, there was there's a few little like whoops, especially when he started hitting himself with. Is it his left hand that he has to cut off, or his right hand?
Oh yeah, yeah.
Just that little kind of nod to Ash,
Yeah.
But yeah, it wasn't, before, even because at Alamo they have like a special, like, keep all your devices silent, quiet, out of sight, whatever. And he did it for the Evil Dead and for this one at Alamo. And for the Evil Dead, people were cheering that, and like, all hail the king, all that kind of stuff. And like, like you said here, it was just like, it was just silent. There's a few like chuckles from the audience that like understood who he was, but yeah. And I love Bruce Campbell. I just want him to. I want to see him more. I haven't seen Ash versus the Evil Dead, but I think I need to. I've heard it's good.
Yeah, yeah. I want to see him in a big role. Like give him something to chew on. Like he's a good actor. You know what I mean? Like I don't know, but
yeah.
What did you rate it?
I rated it 3. So I think, and this is going to sound a bit sacrilege because I know that it's the biggest movie studio in the world right now, and like they're just doing record numbers. But I feel like I'm getting to the point where I need something fresh. I don't know if I need a break from Marvel, but because there's so like it's all the time. We're getting bombarded with content now. But to say that I know we're in phase 4, but my favorite film of phase 4 has been Shang-Chi. And I think that's just because it's just something completely, it's just like a different character. I know that we lapse into the same thing in the third act and stuff like that, but it felt new, it felt different.
Yeah.
Kind of the same with Eternals as well, which I need to go and rewatch, I feel, because maybe I didn't do it as much justice as it needed to do.
Well, it feels like we're back in phase 1 again, which in a lot of ways we are. It's like
setting up this whole new.
They're planting all these seeds, but we don't know how it's going to come together yet. Like we hear Blade's voice at the end of Eternals.
Yeah.
I don't know how that, like, how are vampires going to fit into this universe? Like,
exactly. Yeah.
It's like gods and vampires and like and Egyptian gods and like all kinds of stuff now. So like how is it all going to tie?
Exactly. Before it was just like a bunch of guys in New York, one female, that would just like fight crime together. And now it's, we've got dimensions, we've got space, we've got, like you said, we've got gods, we've got vampire.
Yeah.
Like there is so much going on. And I know that this is what they've been building to, and like people have been wanting it. And Moon Knight was excellent. I love that series. But yeah, I don't know how they're going to keep it under control, because there were times in this where it just felt like it was like you could tell that they were just like, I don't know what this is. I don't know where this is going. I don't know what this means. Before, if you think of like the post-credit scenes of like Iron Man and stuff with the hammer, you knew where it was going. And with this, especially with like Patrick Stewart showing up as Xavier, I'm like, do you know where this is going? Like, is he going to be part of the X-Men now, or are we going to do something completely different? Because we've technically got two timelines.
Yeah,
with the X-Men. Like,
I really want them to do something new with the X-Men. But
yeah, me too.
But I like again, I expected, especially with them purchasing Fox, I expected something from the X-Men to come in, but I also kind of expected them to just kind of like do a sequence where they're just like going through all these different universes, and they're kind of like celebrating all of these older films, but also making fun of them in their way that they can.
Yeah.
Because they could have made fun of the old Fantastic Four. They could have made fun of any of like the X-Men movies that people didn't like.
Yeah.
And there was like one sequence where they're jumping through, and I think they're like cartoon at one point, but it was, and I
And
need to
paint.
watch it again. Maybe it's like maybe
Yeah.
I think I'll enjoy it, more the more that I rewatch it.
Yeah.
But ultimately, I just felt like, it wasn't really about Doctor Strange. It wasn't what I expected, but still a lot there to love.
Yeah, and I think this is like a big curse, Like, we were such big fans of Spider-Man, and everyone can go back and listen to our spoiler special podcast for No Way Home. But we like Spider-Man is our guy, right? Like we love those movies. We think they do such a good job. It's just like deflating. You come out and you're just like, it just you're so used to just being like on the edge of your seat the whole time. And everything just being like, oh my God, they're doing it.
Yeah.
This did happen. That did happen twice for me in this film.
Okay.
You can probably guess one of them. Like, me, I'm a massive fan of the Fantastic Four.
Yeah.
So,
okay.
like, as soon as they mentioned the Baxter stuff, I was like, here we go. They're setting it up. I can just see it. And then I did not expect John Krasinski, though.
Really? Even with all the internet, like,
I mean, I'd seen
campaigning.
I'd seen things, but like with No Way Home, I had seen people being like, "Oh, they've been seen on set." Toby and Andrew have been seen on set or whatever. Where with this, I had no idea. So when it kind of cut to him, I was like, "Oh God, it's happening! Here we go." Because earlier that week, I had heard rumors that because the director John Watts had left Fantastic Four. And the rumor was that he was doing it because they had offered it to John Krasinski. They said, like, you can star in it and we'll let you direct it as well.
Oh.
Because of Quiet Place and Quiet Place Part 2.
I mean, that makes sense.
Yeah, so I think that now that he's kind of established as a director and he's like, because both of them did really good.
Yeah.
Like, that's probably his bargaining power now. He's like, hey, I want to direct
as
well.
Yeah, because when you think about it, like, that's about, like, family.
Yeah.
So
he's going to be all over that because he's such a family man, and and Emily Blunt as Invisible Woman is probably now more realistic than ever, I would say.
Yeah.
I mean, that just opened.
Well, now I'm getting hyped.
Yeah, I know. So this is all the stuff that was going through my brain when I was watching. I was like, holy crap, here we go. And the second part was Agent Carter, dude.
Like,
Dang, so cool.
Yeah, like, and that whole sequence where, Scarlet Witch just annihilates everybody, was just so, like, holy crap.
I know.
Yeah, that was amazing. I think even just talking about it again, I'm like, oh, I did really like some of these parts.
Yeah, I know. I always think that I'm being harsh on it, but I think, you've just got to go with your gut on these things, because if I sat and gestated it, I could be like, just remember the good bits, but there was still, some of the CGI was really bad in this film.
You think so? Yeah.
Yeah.
I guess now that you say that, it's like when the movie started, I was like, are we watching like a Saturday morning Nickelodeon cartoon or what is going on here?
I know, yeah. There's a part, especially when they're fighting the squid thing and one gets like thrown across the floor. It's like PlayStation 2 style graphic, and it's like, oh my, like, it's not great. And even, like the opening when they kind of America and the Multiverse Strange are running together. It doesn't look great,
but then you're like, oh, he's dreaming, so it's fine.
No,
but then you're like, oh no, it's not dreaming.
Yeah. Yeah.
But it does change what you think about dreams now in the MCU. You have to go back, and the first thing I thought of when they were like, oh yeah, when you're dreaming, you're like, what did they call it? Like,
you live in someone else's.
Yeah, they something walking, dream walking.
Yeah,
they called it dream walking. So the first thing I thought of, because you're like basically when you're dreaming in the MCU, you're living or you're seeing another version of you in the multiverse, like their life or whatever. First thing I thought of was like when Tony Stark in Infinity War at the beginning, he's like, I had a dream last night and we had a baby, and it's like,
yeah. Yeah, I mean, the one rumor that I had heard that didn't come true was that Tom Cruise was going to be like a multiverse version of Tony
Yeah, see,
Stark.
like exactly. That was what, like I was saying, do a kind of celebration of the all these Marvel movies that you've done while making fun of it at the same
Yeah,
time. Like, have like Tom Cruise's Tony Stark come in, have different versions of these characters come in, like go back and do stuff with Blade. I don't know, like,
yeah.
bring Wesley Snipes in, or maybe they'll still do that stuff at some point.
Mm.
I really hope they do, but because this movie was like marketed as Multiverse of Madness, it was like, oh, this is gonna be where they just go all out.
Yeah, and
And
instead it was more of a paint by numbers
yeah,
Marvel movie with some touches of a director thrown in, which is kind of the argument I know gets thrown at Marvel a lot, is that they take these up and coming directors and just kind of let them churn out a film. They don't let them
yeah.
put their own stamp on it. And I'd love to. I mean, I know that I can't remember the director's name. She directed the new Candyman, and she's doing the Marvels,
Mm-hmm.
the upcoming film. Just because I know there's like a few well-known characters in there, but just because like it's not super well-known, I just hope they just let her do her thing.
Yeah,
And that's what I hope with Chloe Zhao with Eternals, and it just didn't work that way. I just want to, I want.
Well, that was the nice thing about Fox, is like they kind of were doing some of that stuff. Like we probably never would have gotten Logan if Marvel had bought them before. So hopefully, I don't know. Hopefully they go in that direction at some point and let some people do some more interesting one-off films. But I mean, that might be an opportunity for DC.
Yeah.
I mean, it seems like they're doing a little bit of that, like they did with Joker. They did a one-off, and he's not coming back, presumably. But
that's, I mean, again, that's a rumor I've heard, that DC are getting ready to kind of, after The Flash, of all that stuff that's happening with Ezra Miller right now, after that's kind of out and released, then they're going to scrap everything and kind of go back to these dark, more, adult kind of stories. Because I mean, the Batman worked as well. I think that
exactly.
It wasn't. I don't think it was 50-50 across the board. I know that people didn't like it, but I think the majority of people really enjoyed that movie, and really enjoyed it for the fact that it wasn't a superhero movie.
Right. Yeah.
It was more of a like realistic, grimy, dirty, like horror film.
Yeah. Kind of. Yeah.
So I think that's the way they're going to go. And this is what we've been saying for you ever since Joker. I was like, that's what they've got to do. They've just got to stop trying to tie everything all in and just do their own thing.
Yeah.
And it works. But I mean, again, Kevin Feige and a lot of the Marvel execs recently have gone and tried to sort out the next 10 years of the MCU. They went on a retreat, so I'm sure the story isn't close to being over.
Oh no! I mean, they're gonna keep it going as long as they can.
Yeah.
But the nice thing about the MCU is they're not gonna like reboot stuff. They're not gonna be like, let's do Iron Man all over again.
No. Yeah.
They'll. I mean, they kind of will, though. I guess in some ways they'll be like, let's do Iron Man all over again, but it's his daughter.
Yeah. I mean, that's true. Or the kid.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, the one tweet that I saw that may have clouded my judgment a little bit, was just, I saw like a film critic was like, the Marvel films are great, but imagine if you were in like 20 years time, if you were, 14, you're like, I'm going to watch this movie, Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness, and not have a clue what is going on.
Yeah.
Like, we've had 20 years now of watching these films like back to back.
Yeah.
Like, no one's going to be able to do all that homework, and that's why I'm saying now we need to branch off a little bit, and kind of, that's why Eternals, Shang-Chi, all these films kind of worked, because they're doing their own thing.
Yeah, that's true. There wasn't a ton of like connection. I mean, they reference some things, but it wasn't like, I mean, Eternals mentions Batman and Superman.
Yeah.
Which was pretty great. But but there are other references, just little references, but it's not like it's
A plot point.
yeah.
Yeah, my mum and dad are going to go and see Multiverse of Madness, and I'm like, I know they haven't watched the WandaVision show, so I'm like, will they? No, not at all.
Yeah.
Because if it was about Vision, you could connect those dots. You could be like, oh yeah, I remember that he got his gem taken out of his head. Whereas like if it's the kids, you're like, I can't remember having kids.
Yeah.
But
I don't know. I wonder what they'll think of it.
Yeah, I'm excited. They loved Everything Everywhere All at Once, by the way. So.
Oh, they did? Nice.
Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah, which I know it's not a competition, but I'd much rather go and see that again.
Somebody said that the Everything Everywhere All at Once was a scrapped Doctor Strange script. And I'm like, how?
How? Yeah.
How would that would not make any sense.
Yeah.
Like maybe they changed everything in the script afterwards, like because you couldn't just like change the names to Doctor Strange and like it would not work.
No, exactly. Yeah, we need to get back to the Sanctum Sanctorium. I mean, the laundromat.
It's like what? He has a daughter and a dad
and a husband. Yeah, that makes no sense.
He's trying to get his taxes done.
Yeah.
Like,
oh my gosh.
Well, all right. I think that's probably it.
Yeah, dude.
On this little mini review of Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness. Hope you guys have enjoyed listening. Please listen to our podcast on all podcast platforms, and we do podcasts every Sunday. So
yeah, come and join the church.
Yeah. FilmChurchRadio.com. Find us.
Amen.
Amen. All right, later.